We are getting into match number 2. Welcome back. Okay, this one is going to be important. Cookies looking good as well with the jersey. The man stepped up. Okay,
You can
important.
see it. Sin win, baby. Hashtag sin win, baby. Let's get it.
Team
Okay, enough
Sinister,
product
wow.
placement. We're ready to get into it. Okay, this one's important, Cookies. Let's not forget that although the overall standings show us 6th for Luminosity and 9th for Arial Arise, as far as the points go for playoffs, this is mighty important for both teams because Luminosity coming into the weekend, I don't know if they were still in first, but they were first in the first stage. I know that Arial Arise was sitting in 4th overall. These two are playoff contenders. So Cookies, Luminosity, they're looking to carry off the momentum from yesterday.
Definitely. This hasn't been the stage for LG, but they have to think big. That was my big criticism, or whatever my point was basically like, they just have to mentally survive this stage. It's been tough. It's been some close losses, but they're still looking good for their whole year in general. And Silent ends. I was like, dude, is Silent really a top 5 player? I was like, making all those comments. And then he dropped 20 kills and 4 deaths. Yes, he baited for a good amount of those kills, like about 6 of them, but he was still nasty. He was basically just kind of walking around doing what he wanted yesterday. He made LSR look like children, and he could do it again today because Arial Rise ain't looking too hot. Ain't that the case force?
That 20 bomb. Sorry, Tanner. I just picture still Connor going, but 6 of those
were exits.
didn't go anywhere. So
we're not hating. He was literally baiting. Like he would admit it.
But they called a timeout and he fixed all of that. So you got to give him the credit because the coach went, hey, don't do that. And he went, got it, boss, and fixed the problem. 14 kills is still impressive. But on the side of Arial Arise, like you mentioned, they just have not looked good this past few play days. They're a team that we had these standards. And I'm tired of saying we have these standards. The standard is just be competitive. Like, I want to see a competitive game. The last few days that they've had their backs blown out. They've looked absolutely brutal when it comes to how they've been playing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say, oh, but they're so good and they got such great mechanical fraggers anymore. It's like, you need to put up or shut up. Like right now, you got guys like Jay and Freak who aren't putting up the numbers we're expecting them to. There's not a lot of info. They're swinging wildly and randomly. It's just not been looking good. The only shining light that I've been seeing on this roster who's been putting up some numbers is Mohesi, which is why he's my highlighted player. But even then, it's a team game. You need all 5 people to be performing in order to get these wins. And right now, it seems like there's only 1 or 2 per game that are actually showing up.
Mm-hmm. What was interesting, Cookies, is Luminosity's win yesterday really vaulted them, I think, 3 or 4 spots in the standings, simply because even in their losses, they have managed to pick up some points.
Yeah, a couple overtime losses here and there, But yes, if we're talking Luminosity critically,
as one should,
as you do.
Packer yesterday in his interview was straight spitting. He was like, we don't really fear the other 3 guys on Arial Rise. It's pretty much just freaking Mo, Freak especially. You chop at his ankles, you go for the ACL, you hit him low, right? And all of a sudden, ain't nobody doing nothing. And also, West Garfield Park, we just watched, they banned Finka against this Arial Rise team. Freak had nothing going for him on Zofia, right? So it's just like, maybe there's something with the ADS, the Finka boosting that helps him. I don't know. But LG, to get back to topic LG, they definitely look a lot better after they fixed their daddy issues. They're looking like the team that won stage 1. That's for sure.
Now, for Arial Arise, Tanner, how do you fix a 3-game skid? Because that's what they're on right now.
It's info. I've been saying this for a few days. It's the biggest thing is they're swinging without info. We saw Freak playing on Villa yesterday. He's playing, main stairs. He's swinging the front door, but he doesn't know if someone's there. He's jiggle peeking it. He's shoulder checking. He's waiting to be shot at. It's guesswork. It's not like intentional to see if he's getting a pick. He doesn't know if someone's there. He doesn't know if someone's art. So it's just bring info. It doesn't have to be a BP or Valkyrie. There's other ways to get info. Things like thorn traps, Ella mines, goo mines. These are all things that can give you a heads up that your opponent's there. It's not designed to stop them. It's designed to give you that information so you know what you're getting into. And that's what the biggest thing I need to see from them on the defensive half. And then on attack, their attacks looked good yesterday. Like, they didn't get very many because they had a 5-1 or a 1-5 defensive half. But their attacks were solid. But the biggest issue that I saw is getting the resets. You get these great picks. Freak walks in with his LMG on Finka, takes a couple picks, reset, find out where the last 2 guys. Don't let Mr. B swing you on the door. And in this case, don't let Silent swing you on the door and drop 20 because that's what he's going to do. And he's going to get these picks if you allow him to.
Okay, now since Cookies did not want to be a team player, he informed me before this matchup. He's like, I don't want to talk about maps. So I want Tanner to talk about the maps. So that's what we're going to do because I guess Tanner's the team player here.
He's smarter than me. I want him to shine. He's smart.
That's
Let's go, Tanner.
questionable
Let's get
at
it.
best. So basically, with these maps, you got two teams with pretty diverse map pools. LG was one of these rosters that they definitely surprised us throughout the stage because they had a bunch of permabans and then they started demonstrating that they want to play it. I think at this point they've played 7 of the 9 maps. Arial Rise, on the other hand, have played 9 out of 9 maps. So where this could go is anyone's guess. I'm leaning towards a Villa here, just simply because it's a map that Arial Rise. After talking with them last night, it sounded like they wanted that redemption arc. They know they're a good Villa team. They feel like they could have played. They just had an off game. So this is kind of one of those comfort picks for them to go to a map that they feel a little bit more comfortable on. And for the side of LG, this is a map that they don't typically ban. It's typically banned against them. I think they've played it once through both stages, and I'm very curious to see if there's anything that's been freshened up on the side of LG, or if they're going to repeat what they did back in stage 1.
What I'm curious about, Cookies, is we see a pattern now. We'll throw the predictions up. We see a pattern between the first game and the second game now, where one of these one of the teams is now they are going to go to a map that they previously lost the Playday before. For for LSR, it was Oregon yesterday, and now for Arial Arise, it was Villa yesterday. What do you make of that?
I mean, as we've talked about, there were winnable rounds for them. It wasn't like it was just a total baptization. Yeah, it was Gavini was LMGing them on their defense path, but on attack they did have a little bit of steam going for them. They just kind of dug themselves into a little bit of a hole. Being down 1-5, it's hard to come back from that against B and his team. So I'm thinking maybe they feel like today they can start off a little stronger on their defensive half, and that would obviously put them in a winning situation, a winning position on a map like Villa. They should feel confident. They have all reason to.
I'm wondering, I do want to stick with Arial Arise here. I'm just wondering, do I get a bit of a time buffer? Can I wait to see if the Tanner, if the Finca is banned before I fully make my decision?
Honestly, if they can't Finca, I don't think they get an attack. I'll be honest.
I wish you could do that. But for Arial Arise, I mean, I'm putting my faith in them. They're a team that historically, like when they have pressure or they're put in positions where they have to start winning, that's when they start to perform. They only have 4 games left on the stage. They played the majority of their games already in the first half. So now it's like their backs against the rope. If they don't want to go to that relegation, they have to start performing. That's why I'm putting my faith in Arial Arise. I believe they're a team that on those pressure situations, they step up to the next level and they can rise to the occasion. That's why they got my vote today. LG hasn't really shown that consistency just yet. They had one good play day yesterday. I'll give them that credit, but I'd like to see a little bit more before they take my vote.
Okay, well, it may be too early to say, but we could be looking at a potential playoff matchup down the road here in LG and AA, and they are going to Villa.
Jonah, I don't know. I'm having a lot of internal conflict right now if I want to switch or not, because I remember LG used to be a really good Villa team, and where Asian comes from, that T3 roster, Arial Rise Academy, were also a really, really good Villa team. So I don't know, like Tanner said, or like CJ said, can we wait until Finca is banned?
Nah,
whether or not.
I'm not going to allow it. I think you got to do it now.
All right. Well, all right. I guess I'll stick with Arial. We'll be split on this one.
All right. Well, I'm going with Luminosity because, again, I'm basing this in a large part off of what we saw yesterday. Luminosity with a sub, no Eddie, it was Ash instead, with a sub, looked pretty good. I gotta say, they were not looking like the kind of mediocre team that they've been emerging as so far this stage. They started to really click and took down LSR rather fast. On the other side, you had an Arial Arise team who is almost impossible to vote against week after week. You just look at this roster and you vote against them. You're just like, what am I doing? But at the same time, you've got to look at their recent results. They were just here on this map yesterday. Playing took the kids and they got smoked. 7-3, but it didn't feel that close. A shocking result for a team of this caliber.
And I guess that's just the Mr. B difference. Like we were just talking about, Finca has been banned right off rip by Arial Arise, followed by the Thatcher and the Valkyrie, 2 more very standard bans. And it turns out John has actually switched his prediction. He said I can't be given AA any more chances. So we'll see what happens. Mira as the last ban, every single ban here pretty standard. Not a whole lot to talk about except for, the Finca being a very large part of both of these teams' entries. Now, where my eye is going to be focused, Jonah, is Asian. Because while LG have, been getting a little bit better, they were a lot better yesterday. Ever since Playday 1, where he had a big, debut performance, Asian has been sadly mid. And I'm really disappointed. So I'm hoping, if my prediction is wrong today, it's because Asian steps up.
Yeah, and Asian just goes absolutely nuke. It's possible. I mean, like you said, we've seen it. And maybe on the attacking side, that is where Luminosity can thrive. As our analyst desk theorized, though, without the Finca, I mean, this is anyone's game, and we could be seeing a little bit more of a defensive-sided Villa if both of these teams are really feeling that sting. But for now, we will get to see how Arial Arise choose to defend Aviator in games, as it looks like they're going to be running a bit of an extension as they work their way over to the trophy and statuary side. And of course, two other aspects that we can talk about throughout this round, the presence of both the Tachanka, which is something we see now and again, especially on this bomb site, but especially the Azami and those Kiba barriers, right? Always curious to see how these Azami players are setting up the map with those barriers, if we're going to see them utilized on the roam to establish strong power positions off the site, or if they're going to be kept in pocket for the late round where you can really try to delay the attack for a bit longer.
Yeah, Zombie's a cool operator, not just because of like how she plays, but also of who plays her, because depending on how you're using the Azami, sometimes you'll have your entry play her, like Freak. Sometimes you'll have a support player play her if you're kind of more bunkering down with it and what have you. So I imagine Freak is going to be, in the attacker's faces, setting up those Kiba barriers and putting the pressure on, but it's actually Mo to get the first kill as the Tachanka right outside main door. Kicks throw down early, and that's the only set of hard breach you have.
You don't usually see that kind of aggression from a Tachanka, and I think Kixro was as equally as surprised as us, just innocently approaching that main door, and he didn't even stand a chance. Losing the Selma charges, not ideal. Now, if you want to approach this site from your typical route, try to open that gun vault wall, well, you are out of luck if you're Luminosity. You're going to have to do this one the old-fashioned way, just by fragging your way through this setup and maybe working your way around towards the study side, using some of that soft destruction that Arial Arise have already set up for you, and trying to clear out from there. Silent, though, his first step, tracking down that player sitting close behind Deer in trophy, tucked on that pixel angle. A standoff right now between him and Freak, but neither player will budge just yet. Instead, it's Jay who steps up and gets torn into by a couple of bullets. He's going to get lit up heavily, as will Freak. Silent hoping to track him down, and he will. We're back in a 4v4.
Silent initially hitting that crouch walk, gets his kill. Ferda, a follow-up nade, could easily kill Jay, and it lands. So Reed Sync now heavily damaged, and Luminosity have turned the tides. It's a 4 versus 3, but this shield is going to cause a lot of trouble unless they can clear it out. Asian maybe still has a Gone 6. Never mind, Reed Sync pushes off the shield into Ferda. Eddie, a follow-up kill, and now it's Reed Adams alone in a 1 versus 4. One gas canister to his name, but it might not matter. He's getting pistoled in the back. He's able to at least shotgun down the Zoe, pushing books, but now it's a post plant, and it's just got even harder, especially with how healthy these remaining LG members are. The gas canister not hitting the planter as he's already skated away. Beautiful shot from Eddie to clean up the round, and LG take the first attack.
That's a great adjustment after losing your ace early in the round to come back and storm ahead and win it with 3 bodies up. I think that was, that's a great place to be, and that's certainly going to be a confidence builder. Kixro had a good seat for that one, had a nice front row seat for the entire show that they just put on, because Arial Arise, despite trying to maintain that control over the top floor after they got that opening pick, theoretically a job that should have been easier, they just got picked apart one by one. Luminosity did a nice job of pressuring the bomb site to make those anchors feel like they had to stay focused and stay disciplined, but also at tracking down those extended roamers. Freak being the one most extended over towards that north side of the top floor. He was eventually tracked down nicely by Silent, who was happy to collect that trade for Luminosity. So good start for them after that rough start in the opening kill.
And Luminosity are going to, adjust once again. Off of the Nook onto the Flores, seeing how much utility there is for Arial Arise. Bulletproof cams aplenty. The Banshees, 2 shields from Jay and Reed Adams. I like the play on the Flores from Luminosity. But Asian is also taking Amaru. I feel like this is the most Amaru we've seen in the first 2 games of any CL day. We saw it twice, or 3 times last game. I forgot Valor played her too. And now Asian. And he's looking to take control of 90. Here's the reinforcement going down, but he's too late. Reed Adams is off the reinforcement. Kills him easily. And, well, it's almost like the Amaru never even existed.
Yep. Asian may not have even been in this lobby. That's another death for Luminosity right off the bat. Once again, though, Silent is here, and he will find the equalizer. This time onto Jay rather than Freak, but Reed collects one right back. That's 2 filthy shots as Eddie is typing a nice shot compliment. Reed hits another stinker back-to-back. The 2v4 now with Ferda in kicks row, needing to figure out a way to do something in this round. I mean, yes, they've got 2 minutes. This flurry of gunfights is all unfolded within the first 60 seconds, but they don't have a lot of options with how they want to progress.
Reed sync. I mean, that DMR, bro, I swear it gives people superpowers. 2 disgusting shots to give his team the lead. A firm advantage in this round. And Ferd is going to try and use his last Rotero to scope out Astro. Kixro's getting a little close. He doesn't check the corner, and that's a freebie for Reed Adams. Looking to follow it up. Catches Ferda on the drone. 3 kills for the Thorn, and we equalize 1 point for each.
That is quite a way to bounce back. A flurry of engagements at the very beginning of this round. Obviously, that is a result of Luminosity trying to pressure the site very early, but they were met with a brick wall in terms of a defensive response from Arial Arise. Obviously, the opener onto the Amaru was something, but then you had Reed Adams, or rather Reed Sync, hit 2 just ridiculous shots with that DMR and almost nothing that LG could do in that 2v4 situation. Early days, I thought we may be seeing a little bit of a comeback from Luminosity, much like we saw in that first round, because Silent was pretty quick on the trigger and was able to secure that trade about, 15 seconds after that initial blow had been felt, but Arial Arise just never stepped off the gas, so they'll equalize and we're tied at 1.
I just realized while you were talking about that round, that was 3 kills for Reed and 2 kills for Reed.
Gotta love it.
That was a Reed buddy ace. And now we move on to dining. We'll see how Arial Arise defends the upstairs. Astro is full reinforced. So they're putting a lot of stock in that room. I don't know. So I imagine Freak is probably the one who's going to be playing either in Astro or near Astro, helping to bolster that position. Actually, with the door being barricaded off, I have to assume it is going to be him. And, I mean, what better operator to do it with than your essentially rechargeable, tiny deployable shields that you can just throw literally anywhere. And it seems as if Luminosity are going to challenge this. They want to clear this out. They want that upstairs presence. They want to get the most of both Eddie and Ferda.
Yeah, taking that upstairs control would be really nice for Luminosity, considering they do have Eddie. Like you said, they do have Ferda and so much soft destruction at their disposal. Doesn't look like they're going to run into too heavy of a hold if they do try to contest it. Right, you don't see any active presence in Statuary instead. They're all a little further back, and Silent just walks right up into them. Right up into that extension and takes care of freaking Jay like it's nothing. Asian on the Twitch will follow that one up with a kill onto Reed Sync, and all of a sudden, it is Mo and Reed Adams, the only thing that's standing between Luminosity and their second round on this map. Good shot onto Eddie, but a missed C4 means that that is not going to fully equalize the man count just yet. Still 2-man disadvantage for the Arial Arise defense.
Man, I was hyping up the Azami hold, and so much for that. All it took was Silent deciding he was going to walk in, and nothing was going to get in his way. Getting 2 kills, follow-up from Asian. Sure, Eddie is dead, but you still got the buck, so you're not completely out of options when it comes to that soft breach. And Reed Adams trying to challenge into Laundry, destroys some drones, gets caught by said vertical play. Challenge comes in from Mo, but it's just a 3rd kill for Silent as they feed the Zoe, and LG get their 2nd round.
I mean, Silent, with 3 kills in that round, is definitely a great impact to be made, but the specific kills that he was able to get and the speed with which he was able to get those kills was really the important part. Just walking in to the top floor and killing both of those defenders sitting up there with minimal support from his team? I mean, that's crazy. How do you do that? Obviously, Silent dropped like 1,000,000 kills yesterday. I think he had 19 or something like that. But this is a nice start. The first 2 rounds may have not been the way he was hoping they were, but with a couple of trades there and with 3 kills in round number 3 to propel Luminosity to that 2-1 lead, now he'll be at 5 kills, and he'll be looking to heat up on that Zoe LMG for the remainder of this map.
And I mean, it's something Tanner talked about on the analyst desk, and it's Arial Arise, even on their defense. Their info game leaves much to be desired, and the Valkyrie is banned, which is a good ban from Luminosity. It takes away a lot of opportunity, but Arial Arise aren't even bringing... Well, now they are, but they weren't even bringing proxies. They weren't bringing bulletproofs, except for that 1 round on Trophy that they won. You know, coincidence? I don't know. The 1 round that they actually did bring info, they took in stride, but lack of info there on that upstairs hold. No bulletproof to assist Freak there, and Silent's able to just walk right in under their noses, get 2 kills, and Luminosity are going to look to keep that ball rolling, as again, the only source of info that Arial Arise is bringing are proxies from ReadSync.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like enough. Of course, the lack of a Valkyrie means you can't bring those black eye cameras, but defensive teams at this point are used to that. And you adjust by bringing some bulletproofs. You adjust by having some good information at your disposal that you can eventually play off of. If not, you're allowing a very capable frag-heavy team like Luminosity to take advantage of that and catch you off guard. And that is something that Arial Arise cannot afford if they want to have a successful first half here on what we thought would be generally a slightly defensive-sided Villa. Still early days. Only 2-1 right now, halfway through Arial Arise's defensive attempts, but not looking good in terms of the way these last couple of rounds have unfolded. But the thing for Luminosity here in the 4th round is that they have to make that decision again of how much they want to clear out the other side of the map. Do they want to work their way into Trophy and Statuary like we saw Silent do last time, or are they going to be focusing on pressuring directly? Right now, seems like a little bit of both.
Yeah, those Flores drones coming in, as well as the Twitch drones too, catching a lot of good utility in the site, getting signal disruptors, getting shields. The only shield left is the one on top main from Mo. Nearly catches what looked like the backside of Ferda there, but only succeeds in doing a hefty amount of damage to said Flores. Smoke grenade comes out that allows the ace to go down. It makes ReadSync's position very exposed. In comes Silent on the Nook. Freak gets the leadoff kill, though, on the Asian on that boar window. No refrag from Silent just yet. Those shots are going to reveal his location to Freak. The Azami this round a lot more longevity, and it is certainly helping Luminosity, or helping Arial Arise put down Luminosity. Silent the next to fall as Freak still runs amok. You're going to try and deviate from the initial plan and take this control, because without it, they're just pushing dry into the site with very little map control. Jay, another kill on Eddie, the man they had left on an island to hold on to study, as Ferda now hits the deck. It's just kicks in a 1 versus 5, and Freak looking to take 4, trying to battle against the ace. He's got support, but Kickstar will turn around and kill ReadSync. Pistol comes out, follows up onto Freak as well, but there's not enough time. He doesn't have enough seconds to pick up Ferda. He's gonna have to do it all himself, and there's still 3 more defenders and only 12 seconds left to kill them all. 10 seconds now as he tries to entry into the site. So many crossfires being held, a couple pot shots being sent in by Mo, but Kick's not even gonna try. He's just gonna try and bait out a couple kills, just pad his stats, but in the end, Arial Arise take round number 4, much off the efforts of Freak.
Yep. Got to be Freak who was the difference maker in that round. You took the words right out of my mouth, Harrison, because the big difference in that round, sure, Luminosity were unable to secure the opening kill. Arial Arise took it, much like they did last time we were on Aviator and Games defense. But the difference was Silent and Freak. That little 1v1, that little skirmish on the north side in Trophy and Statuary went the other way. Silent was able to sneak his way up last time as that Zofia, just had the intel and had the patience to take care of Freak before Freak could take care of him. This time, Freak was obviously much more prepared for that, did not expose himself to that angle as much, and actually turned around and retaliated after Silent was able to land a bullet or two. He won that fight, downed another player, maintained firm control of that north side, and didn't allow Luminosity to get comfortable on the top floor. Instead, they were scrambling around at all times, wondering where Freak was, wondering if there'd be another defender coming around to support Freak from the top of those red stairs. A lot of good things about that defense, but Freak has to be number one.
Yeah, actually living. And that's what happens when Freak is allowed to influence the round. His only 2 kills so far, right there. Well done to Freak. See if he can, keep that ball rolling. Give Arial Arise a couple more rounds as we head on to Trophy with an AVG extension for this defense. LG, last time they attacked Trophy, didn't do too hot. It was 3 kills for Reed Adams and 2 for Reed Sink. As when I remember when Asian tried to Amaru into 90. That was this round. But Asian now on Sledge. Much more useful operator. Already finding use with his nades. Clearing out some traps on the other side of Astro. And just like the previous round, it doesn't look like LG is going to be too distracted or too preoccupied by this AVG roam. They'll probably just have Eddie sit on that rappel and wait to cut them off.
Silent trying to find that energy again by once again walking straight into a couple of these defenders. The difference this time is that Arial Arise not fully exposing themselves just yet. Silent was able to get a lot of intel, and Ferda with that intel makes the decision to pounce. He goes right up into Astro, joined by Asian, joined by Silent now, and they're starting to collect some kills. Eddie gets another onto Reed Sink, who was working his way back from the top of Red Stairs. Thankfully for Arial Arise, Reed Adams just came in clutch in a big way, getting a trade, equalizing the man count, and staying alive just barely for a bit longer in this round. But here's the problem for Arial Arise. They don't have the site control at all. Luminosity have firm site control. Reed Adams is nearby, but Mo is nowhere close. His C4 missed, and now with Reed Adams dusted, it is all up to a 1 HP Kaid against the world. Silent and Asian know exactly where he's coming from. Not only that, they've got the diffuser and can put this down whenever they feel like it. They've got a full 60 seconds, a full cushion to work with. So now it's a waiting game for Mo to step up. He'll do it, and Asian was ready.
I believe it's 3 kills for Asian on the round. Beautiful stuff from Luminosity. The info being gathered by Silent, really coming in clutch. Ferda dueling with him up Astro stairs. They saw no one was really on that shield. Silent comes in, dusts the shield. Ferda gets a kill. Sure, Freak has a couple good trades, but it can't give his team the advantage. We end up at even. I believe Asian gets a kill in the site, and the only remaining members have to try and retake off of that AVG roam. At that point, it's an even man count, sure, but like you had mentioned, LG fully had the site control, and Arial Arise didn't really have a solid way in, not with Asian manning the doorways. So, great stuff to Asian stepping up that round and giving Luminosity the 1-round lead.
Exactly where they were hoping to put themselves, especially going into the side switch. You've got one more round. If they can secure it on the attack here on Villa, again without a Finka, they'll be sitting pretty and probably feeling really good about their chances when they switch sides. But the same thing goes for Arial Arise. If they can walk away with a third, you go into the half even, and it really is anyone's game at that point. But we're going to complete the site rotation. We're going to head back to kitchen and dining. Last time we were here, it was Luminosity with the aggression, with 2 early openers from Silent upstairs, dismantling that top floor hold and paving the way for the rest of the team. That's what we're going to have to pay attention to, is how Arial Arise are going to adjust. Are they going to commit more resources to the top floor, or are they going to back down and focus on the site instead?
Asian now on Lion. So he's been switching it up. He went from, what? From Nook to Iana to Amaru, Sledge, and now Lion. So through and through appears to be their flex player, quite literally. Silent, though, not on Zofia this time. He's going to be on Nook. Maybe figuring that Arial are probably bringing out some sort of info to counter him. He would be wrong. They're, again, only really bringing proxies. And I guess the Thorn gadget, the Razor Blooms, can also kind of count as info. As Silent starts to ascend the stairs, he will hit one of those proxes. So, secondary utility from Jay, coming in clutch and maybe even saving his life, as now the hunter becomes the hunted. One of those defenders started to creep downstairs. It's ReedSync looking to try and take Silent out. But unfortunately, he'll miss his opportunity as the Nook gets out of the building and regroups with his team.
Essentially making the primary gadget of the Nook useless, though. Once he was detected sneaking through the basement, no really other angle he could sneak around from. Freak, on the other hand, doing no such sneaking. Out in the open, gets 2. That's a double kill for him on 1 HP, and he gets away, and he's gonna survive for longer. Devastating for Luminosity as they lose 2 very impactful bodies on this top floor, and it is not over. Unlike last time, where Silent just walked in and cleaned up that top floor, this time it's Luminosity walking in and getting cleaned up themselves.
That was a bit of a troll from Asian, I have to say. I mean, wonderful shot from Freak, but Asian did not need to Gone 6 and open the door. As soon as Silent died, that should have been a lion charge. You can see Asian, I mean, it's not a role he's used to playing. Typically, the most passive he gets is like a nomad. All he had to do was hit an EE1D and just crack open the barricade for an angle, even just pre-fire through it. He did not need to Gone 6 and push through, exposing himself as he was still, I think, mid-weapon swap or right after the weapon swap. Either way, bit of a troll, and that'll put Freak still alive and Arial Arise in a 5 versus 3. Use the aces on the main laundry wall, so we've got a secondary avenue into the site now that Arial aren't directly contesting. You've got Freak just around the corner as Ferda finishes him off from above. Makes it just a little bit more winnable for LG here. Stuns start to go in. Kickthrow now in his plant spot, but there seems to be a defender in China, or at least encroaching on China. Mo will get that kill onto Eddie, make it a second onto Ferda as well. That forces Kicks off the plant. Sure, he gets 1, but it's wholly impactless. Jay finishes him, and we end the half 3-3.
All tied up at the switch. Both teams feeling like they're in this one, but neither emerging as the dominant force. This is eerily similar to Oregon that we just finished. Keep that in mind. And one team then quickly emerged as the dominant team, taking the lead and winning 7-4. But this one doesn't feel quite the same. These teams going back and forth. No one really dominant even round after round. Every round has been pretty close. The rounds that Arial Arise have won have generally been a bit more heavy-handed, and Luminosity just, if they lose those opening picks, if they walk in and find a couple of their attackers in an early grave, we generally haven't been able to see them recover compared to Arial Arise kind of going in and out, fluctuating when they have a chance or when they lose a body early in the round. But we can kind of take those lessons we learned from that first half, throw them out the window, regroup here, because now it's Luminosity on the defensive side, and we get to see what they have in store for us.
They will too be bringing the Azami. Asian on that roll. Ferda bringing out the Warden, curiously enough. Maybe just for an extra shield, and decided that he wanted the MPX 1.5. That is typically why people like to bring him. Asian off on the roam over towards Trophy side. Arial Arise, though, I don't think I see the silhouettes repelled over there. Well, no, you got one. You got ReedSync. The rest of the team, however, preoccupied with study. So this could just be a 1v1 with Asian versus ReedSync. Whoever wins that just takes full control of that side of the map. Freak goes in. And to the point that Tanner had on the analyst desk, comes in with very little to no info. And it's an easy first kill for Silent.
Not only no info, but no support at all. I mean, no teammate behind him to find the trade. Finally, Mo will reach that position, but he's also just walking into his own death. What is he planning there? Again, no teammate nearby. No support system to back him up if he dies just like that. And so all of a sudden, 60 seconds in, Arial Arise have lost 3 bodies and Luminosity are sitting pretty. 1 body is now removed from the side of the defense, but Arial Arise, they lose 1 too. It's all up to Jay. He's getting sprayed down directly from the middle of sight. Ferda eventually loses that one, but deals enough damage to make things even harder on the Flores for the remainder of the round. Asian still messing around here in 90 and holding this position, but Jay is not done, so these two final defenders need to be careful.
1 versus 2 is much more winnable than you'd think, especially if he wins this fight on Asian. Asian pre-fires around, deals an almost lethal amount of damage to Jay. Kickstarter still has a gas canister as well, and it looks like Jay is going to try and hop on that Rotero and take away the Azami's cover. However, the Azami has already left, and instead he'll use it to open a bit of that wall. Kickstarter responds, of course, with another gas canister. Jay back on the Rotero, just sends it down 90. And I think it went too far to destroy that Azami, but it doesn't matter in the end. Asian peeks around the shield, denies the clutch attempt. LG take the lead 4-3.
Yeah, a good effort there from Jay. I mean, 1v4 to 1v2. It's a great place to be, but not going to be able to do much more. Luminosity jump ahead. Second or the third time. That could be even fourth. I don't even know what I'm talking about. They've had the lead on and off. Arial Arise have really been the ones to sneak back and tie it up, but Luminosity will continue that streak, I suppose, as now they will look to switch it up and go to trophy and statuary. But that Aviator Games defense, textbook as it gets. We didn't really have much of a chance to see how exhaustive their plant denial was or their actual on-site hold was, because most of the round took place in the first 60 seconds when Arial Arise just walked up towards the main stairs and they got fried.
Yeah, but you are correct. LG have been the ones taking the lead. It has been back and forth the whole map. No team being able to get 2 rounds in a row. So if the trend continues, it's Arial Arise's turn to win the next round. It'll be on a trophy if they do. Like I said, you know, ReedSync was just kind of left alone on an island on the other side of the map as well. You know, we keep talking about no intel, no support. Freak solo pushes main stairs, dies. Reed solo pushes trophy, takes that 1v1 with Asian I talked about and loses. Bohes then tries to get the refrag for Freak solo with no info and also dies on main stairs. So whole lot of no drone Jeroming, as CJ loves to say. And hopefully that's not something that continues for Arial Arise. I mean, it's been prevalent this entire stage so far, and it's something that they almost never did last stage. I mean, Arial Arise almost came in first. They were 1 game away from being in first place. And something's happened. There's been regression, and I'm not quite sure why.
Something we've been struggling to pin down for the last few weeks, and something I'm sure that Arial Arise are also trying to figure out themselves, because you know that you're capable of more, and you're just underperforming week after week. When do you break that streak? When do you finally find that coordination, that chemistry again, that puts you over the top? Hard to know if they ever will, or if they'll find that right here. I mean, they're only down 1 round, and like you said, Harrison, if the pattern continues, this is their round to take, and maybe they'll be the ones to break that back and forth streak first. ReedSync is hoping that he can spur along this round with a bit of a sneaky play. He's creeping around the back stairs, coming in from the basement, a classic Nook maneuver. But the question remains, will Luminosity get caught off guard by this strategy? ReedSync probably telegraphing his position by shooting out that default cam with one of these defenders around the corner. It's going to be a dangerous engagement for both of them, but it's Luminosity, it's Ferda, who comes out on top.
Ferda, one of the star players for this team, both last stage and this, with the leadoff pick, but Reed Adams sure to answer onto Asian. The Azami going down. No more Kiba barriers for this defense. An important player who's playing in and around Master, now dead. Eddie taking the fight through Boar against Freak as Freak dances between the 2 doorways. The plant going down from Mo. Nothing from LG to stop it. He's behind that shield. Ferda gets a C4 kill, but it's on the wrong player. It's on Freak. Mo just narrowly gets away, but dies. Reed Adams trying to put the round together after everyone in the site on his team goes down. All he's got to do is clutch up a post plant. Stuns going in to delay the time, but Luminosity in a 2 versus 1 have plenty of it. Ferda, though, needs to not get aggressive. They need to wait for each other, and Ferda wins the fight. Luminosity, the first team in this map to string together 2 rounds in a row.
And doing it with a really good retake through Bathroom. Reed Adams was able to deny those players from eventually swinging around all the way through and going for a full flank through master bedroom. But that initial push, it was potent. And Luminosity, despite giving Arial Arise the opportunity to get the bomb down and really not figuring out a way to deny it thanks to some well-placed smokes, they were able to recover in the end.
Yeah, the pushback in that round was simply incredible. I mean, not only did you have Ferda getting the C4 kill on Freak, the main coverage on said plant, but after that, Mo tried to get away. He was getting choked off by gas, and you had, like 2 or 3 defenders pushing through bathroom. Eddie gets his kill by Boar on the remaining attacker there. There was the double up onto Mo, who really stood no chance. And from there, Reed Adams was the only one left. He gets 2 big kills, sure, but in the 1v2, you know, I was saying Luminosity, they needed to play together. I was getting a little worried about the player who was on bricks because his other teammate was still coming up the Astro stairs, but he was, I figure, now looking back on it, you know, hindsight's 2020, he was probably just chilling behind the Osa shield just to keep an eye out, you know, calling to his teammate, you know, hey, be careful by Astro. I don't see him on the brick store from this Osa shield. Waited for his teammate to come. They played in tandem, and Ferda ended up getting the final frag. He's 9-4 right now, but not leading the lobby. It's actually Reed Adams on the other team with 1 more kill. But at the end of the day, that's not going to matter much if you don't win the game. Luminosity, like I said, the first team to take 2 in a row. And with the way this game has been, that might end up winning them the map.
Yeah, they broke the streak, threw Arial Arise off their rhythm. It was enough to clearly inspire Arial Arise to take the timeout, encourage them to take the step back and regroup, talk about what they can do better over these next few rounds. Because, I mean, the difference between a 1-round deficit and a 2-round deficit, especially this late in the game, feels a lot more daunting to bridge this gap when Luminosity are just 1 point away from having a chance of putting the game away on match point. So Arial Arise got to be careful with how they proceed, with how they work their way into this hold. We're going to kitchen and dining for the first time on this Luminosity defense, so we're our first chance to see how Arial Arise want to approach this, but it's going to be a tall task because Luminosity, they're not just extending up above, nor are they simply anchoring on the site. A lot of horizontal extension is coming out from the defense. You've got Kickstro all over the place. You've got Asian using those goo mines to extend his reach over to the south side of the map as well.
So see how Arial Arise decide to take this. A whole lot of spread going on for LG, but they've been winning their ones when it counts as of recent. Asian, all the way by his lonesome in living room, really the only support he has are his own goo mines, one of them being shot away. That's going to alert Asian to the position, perhaps, but it might be too far away to really hear where that shot exactly was. Lion scan coming out. Free fire comes through from Reed Sync, but Asian has the hatch open. He's able to dart away into the basement and come up the pantry stairs to regroup with his team. So Asian gets away. Silent deals just a little bit of damage to Mo, and there's no damage done to the LG Roam.
Yeah, this is really working well for Luminosity because Arial Arise, it's taken them a lot of time to clear this out, and they really don't have any real progress to speak of after taking all this time. You've got the map control, sure, and you have probably a good idea of how you're going to approach this site, but until now, we haven't really seen many bullets even exchanged. Finally, they'll be exchanged, and it's Freak who comes out on top, but quickly, Luminosity answer. 2 kills right back for them. Reed Sync tries to vault in and go for the miracle play, but he can't do it, so it's on the shoulders of Mo, who makes it happen in a big way. Ferda, though, he claps right back, takes down Mo. It is all up to Reed Adams, with Reed Sync down for the count. Not in an easy position to get him back up, and all Ferda and Eddie have to do is sit back and wait. Good recovery, so both Reeds can now fight this one out for Arial Arise as they try to hang on. Even more so, Reed Sync, they'll be sticking this plan. Now the roles are reversed. Both Eddie and Ferda have to get involved. Eddie exposing himself too much, and Reed Adams takes advantage. Now it's just Ferda who has 10 kills and cannot add to that tally. What a comeback and clutch for Reed Adams, reviving his teammate, getting that round back on track, and getting Arial Arise potentially back in this game.
That is crazy. I don't know how the hell they just won that. LG seemed to be in firm control, wasting a decent bit of time on their roam, being able to fall back to the site, absolutely winning the trade game. through and through. Especially with, you know, Arial Arise looking like they got flustered, trying to play off of Freak, as he was in the site pretty early. I think he got a kill, was immediately traded back. You know, there were people flying in through the pantry window, got downed by, that was actually Reedsync, who got downed by Asian. And Luminosity were ahead in the trade game. We ended up in a 2 versus 1, but they allow Reed Adams to get the pickup and play off that plant attempt pretty poorly. I mean, with the plant going down, Eddie on that like that single wall going towards Brown Stairs punches it open wider, completely telegraphing his intentions, and that's an easy pickup for Reed. And leaves Ferda alone. If you're gonna do something like that, you gotta at least try and coordinate it with maybe waiting until Ferda's in position to swing before punching that wall to try and bait out a peek instead of peeking it yourself, or just, you know, not peek that wall at all because your hole is exactly head level and easy to click on. Yeah, I mean, it was probably just a pre-fire from Reed Adams considering he was on a soft wall. But either way, Luminosity playing that 2v2 pretty poorly. Gives Arial Arise the win, so perhaps we're back to our back and forth ways, but if we are, that just means Luminosity is due up next, and that'll be match point.
Well, as we just discovered, Arial Arise are not giving up easily. They took the timeout, they were able to regroup, and messy, although it did work. They're definitely in this fight. Only 1 round away from closing this gap for good, and probably making Luminosity take a timeout if I'd guess, as Luminosity would have firmly lost the momentum and lost 2 rounds in a row if that happens. But enough speculation. Let's see how round 10 actually plays out, because Arial Arise still have a couple of these extended defenders to work their way through. Looks like they're trying to challenge into them head on. Well, at least a combination of head-on pressure from Master and a little bit of pressure from below, as Freak creeps his way up the Astro stairs and works his way around towards Eddie and Asian's position. But they're going to feel that pressure, and they're going to start to fall back.
Reed Adams not being allowed the angle onto the player coming in to support the 90 presence. Eddie is still just chilling there with the DMR, waiting for someone to peek on into him. A drone will come through and spot. It's actually a Rotero to shove him off, but as the Rotero drone gets him out of position, Reed Adams leaves the 90 repel. So it could have been a pretty easy freebie kill there on Eddie. Ends up netting nothing. Asian, really the only player still off-site for this defense, is on red stairs. Drone coming in to spot him. He's still got these Kiba barriers to assist. He's pretty much protected from Boar. All he's got to worry about is his lower red as they start to pinch in. Smoke comes out, maybe to allow the attack to cross, but they're not really going in just yet. And as Freak stuns out the Azami, he looks the wrong way. Asian on for 2. Jay goes down, and a poor start to this round from Arial Arise. Reedsync at least answers, but so does Eddie. A 3 versus 2, make it a 2 versus 2. As Mo finally gets his kill on that 90 repel. Asian holding the long angle does damage, but there's no kill. And he's just trapped himself in this corner with the Kiba barrier. Luckily able to hit the headshot on Reedsync, but dies to the pre-fire of Mo. Now we're in a 1 versus 1. Kixro using his last gas canister. There's nothing to stop Mo from moving in. He's trying to get cheeky with it, trying to peek through that drone hole, but Kix does not expose himself. The pre-fire does expose Mo's exact position. Kixro's holding the angle. Flash will force him off of it, but the re-peek is successful, and LG take it. They put themselves on match point.
Asian, the highlight player of that round for sure. Triple kill there, and a 3rd kill that really seemed unexpected. The first 2, unexpected as well, as he got both of them while stunned by that Sophia stun. Got the player downstairs, I believe that was the Zoe, swinging him from the bottom of the red stairs. Then we had the refrag attempt coming from up above, trying to take him down from there, and he just said, no, I'll have them both, thank you very much. And then the 3rd kill, just equally as impressive. Kind of caught in a tough corner there, outside the statuary door. He knew he had one player close to his right, and that soft wall between that Boar window and that statuary door had a couple of holes in it. That's why we saw the Kiba barrier get deployed. He didn't want to worry about any bullets flying at him from the right. He wanted to work his way around safely, and to be fair, he was able to get 1 kill, the player working their way into Aviator, but he wasn't able to actually get out. That's when it turned into the 1v1, but it was well played in the end by Luminosity in that engagement. So they keep going with this back and forth, but since they took 2 rounds in a row just a few rounds ago, they move themselves ahead to match point. They're looking to put this map away.
And Jonah. Ah, damn it! Never mind. I was gonna say, look at what Arial Arise are gonna bring out to stop it, because they had a Sense and a Glass, and I was really, really excited. And now I hope Arial Arise lose. Because they robbed me of that.
Brutal.
Man. Well, he's got plenty of tools for the job. They've got 3 sets of nades. But on this trophy defense, we see an operator that has not really been brought yet. It is Frost on Silent and additional shield, as well as Bear Trap coverage on some of those windows. Azami still being played by Asian. She has had quite the not really resurgent, but quite the entrance into the competitive scene. And this is the perfect showcase of that. She has been a very influential operator in this match as a whole, really, for both sides. And Asian's going to be looking to do just that, so he can get this last round in, win the map for his team, and keep the integrity of that round differential as best they can. That was a very odd rotate for Ferda, and he frickin' wins that.
He's stuck in a corner. Harrison, he was stuck in a closet.
All right, well,
Either way,
they got 2 kills off of it, so I guess it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Close call, but it's fine. Arial Arise get the 2 kills back they were looking for, but Ferda goes for a run out, gets himself stuck in laundry, or what should have been stuck, because they were 2 attackers who theoretically should have pinned him in, but he's able to emerge, get a kill, before eventually getting traded out. And at the end of the day, it worked out for Arial Arise. You lose Freak, you lose 1 LMG, but you still have 4 bodies to Luminosity's 3. And you've taken down the 2 top frags of Luminosity as well, the 2 players who are definitely the hottest right now on this defensive team. So definitely a win for Arial Arise so far. They just have to continue that momentum if they can, not let Luminosity get any of these advantages back.
Nade takes out the shield, denying kick throw of that coverage in Astro. LG, rather consolidated on the site. More nades going in over towards Bricks, but it does not hit anything. Silent drops below as Reed gets that nade kill. This drop works for 1 and for 2 as Eddie comes in for an assist. And now it's even man count. 2 on 2. Make it 2 on 1. What? Eddie will go down. Silent gets the refrag in the second onto Reed Adams. Silent, the drop, and the return to site for 3 kills gives LG their 4th round. In this half, I'm in disbelief.
Silent is nuts. What was that? Was that a quad in like the last 30 seconds? He drops down, gets 2. Goes back up and then gets them both again. How do you pull that kind of stuff off? It really looked like an aerial round. I mean, even though Ferda was able to get that early kill, we mentioned how they were immediately able to fight it back. They were back in business in a big way. They had an advantage. Okay, Silent. Okay, put the team on your back, why don't you? He wasn't as hot today as he was yesterday. I suppose he was really feeling that in that last round and decided to just go all out and put Luminosity over the edge.
That was incredible. I mean, that was what? That was actually two different instances of 2 rounds in a row for LG to win it. So they broke the pattern. They end up winning it. They shut down Arial Arise, and LG. I knew I should have switched my vote, and I didn't. I stuck with my guns, and look where that got me. So remember, kids, never trust your instincts. That's what that tells you. But Congratulations to LG, 7-4. Asian did not look mid. I mean, he looked mid through the first couple rounds, but then he picked it up. So good job to Asian. Silent as well, clutching that last round. But for now, we're going to go back to the analyst desk. We're going to talk about that game and why LG are starting to resurge.
Boy, oh boy, how many different words or phrases can you come up with? The first game was neck and neck. This game was back and forth. Tanner, I'm just looking at this something, and man, for a 7-4 matchup, that was close every single round. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what notes to write, what to talk about, because it's like anything could happen.
I don't know. It was such a great game. It felt like I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it felt like there were 4 or 5 1v1s. at the end of that game. And it seemed like Luminosity were winning every single one. And specifically Asian and Silent were just doing so well on their positioning and just being dynamic and making sure that they're getting the important picks and then not staying in the same spot. I really liked the Asians a zombie play on top red there. I believe it was round 8 or 7. And then just that last round, like quad kill from Silent. They did an excellent power where they went and powered the 2 players who were down below. So what a power is a 2v4. You go and find an isolated target and you go and try and get the gunfight on him. So you're not getting a 4v2, you get like a mini 2v2 and then maybe another 2v2. Well, Silent dropped down. He got the 2 picks below. They try to take back upstairs and Arial Rise just didn't take the map control. And as a result, Silent was able to easily get those 2 last picks and just clutch up that last round. It was just an absolute spectacular performance coming out from the side of LG. And I know like Ariel's not going to be happy with this result, but this game, at least from a competitive point of view, was competitive. Relative to the last 2 games, I know all 3 are going to get them no points, but this was just the best game that they've had all week. What do you think, Cookies?
It was. You know, I respect the mindset around we have to talk about the Finca ban they did. It was, if you watched yesterday, they got absolutely baptized by Gavini, you know, so they felt maybe, you know, we banned the Finca, we can have more success on defense, and it was a lot messier in their favor on defense. The game was close. We were tied up. Looked like we had something going with Arial Rise. It wasn't like they were getting the doors blown off of them like it was yesterday, but unfortunately, it kind of bit them in the hind end come the attack side. Freak, the guy we hype up as the raid boss for this team, without his Finca, which you know they ban away, he had 1 kill in the attack half. And it was pretty much, I think it was 1 round where Mohes ran through we call it China, on that kitchen site, had a nice double kill and was able to clutch that round. That was the only attack they got. And otherwise it was just LG. It didn't seem like Arial Rise had a whole lot going for them on the attacking side. They didn't really have the spearhead that they needed, and that's kind of the consequence of not using that Finca, not having it available to you.
I mean, in a game where you're looking to build that momentum and put yourself back into the race, it's tough when the other team just shows up and they show up ready to play. You know, it's hard to critique on that one, because I feel like Arial Rise did try their best, but they were met with a formidable team in Luminosity. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to talk to Wafer, the coach of Luminosity, ask him some questions. Wafer, congratulations on the W. This, for us, was a nail biter. Did it feel the same for you guys?
I mean, I know it was like we had like past weeks that was like just terrible, right? But like, I mean, we have been working on it. You know, we had 3 weeks to work on it. I mean, just trusting the process.
Yeah. Well, this is now 2 big wins this weekend. Do you guys feel more confident as a group? Obviously, you've got the confidence if you win stage 1, but now do you finding that rhythm again as a team?
I mean, we have been always confident in us. You know, we had like troubles inside the team. You know, every single time has it. But I mean, we just get over it, and we are back. I guess we're back.
And let's talk for a second here about Furta, Silent, and Asian, the 3-headed dragon. They were just going off today. Talk a little bit about them.
Well, I think it's going up around like teamwork, right? Everyone having the information and everyone be capable of like doing everything fast. I think that actually help us. So I will not say it's something individual. It's something around like the entire team is working on it.
Yeah.
So it can be improved in the team, you know?
Yeah, the entire 5-man allowing those 3 to get the kills while everyone else picks up the other little pieces. Thank you so much, Wafer, for your time. Hopefully we'll be talking soon.
See you.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Well, that's a big win, not just on the stage, but on the season for Luminosity. Now, we have to move along. We have to get the day going. We've got 3 more matches today, the next of which will be rent-free, taking on an employment. This will be a good one.